Now, I did want to spend some time talking with you a little bit about your experience with Co-op Cincy.
Absolutely.
And yeah, just kind of give us maybe a little background on the group as you know it, and just and what your interactions and have been with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So Co-op Cincy has been absolutely amazing. I mean, other than, I always credit the labor that goes into a thing as the biggest factor in its success, right? But short of that, Co-op Cincy has been the number one difference between success and failure for us. And when we started, we're a distributed team, right? I'm based in Northern Kentucky. I can walk to Cincinnati from my house, but one of my co-founders was in Brooklyn, so in the New York tri-state, and another was on the Florida-Georgia line outside of Tallahassee. And so we really had not just different metros, but we had, 8 or 9 different states where we reasonably could have called home. And we met a lot of folks. We looked around, and what we found with Co-op Cincy is they really balance the theoretical, what does this movement need to look like in 10, 20, 40 years with the, how do we survive until tomorrow? And those are really my favorite folks to work with in the space. They were founded, I think around, I'll mess up the history here, but about 15 years ago with a historic partnership with Mondragon and the United Steelworkers Union to really try and replicate the Mondragon model in a way that made sense in the United States. And now in 2025, there are about 15 active co-ops in the network, doing everything from farming to landscaping, like I mentioned, to solar energy, massage therapy. And yeah, we're pretty tightly integrated. We do profit sharing throughout the network. We get together once a month for a happy hour. We have, fundraising events each year. We, provide discounted services to each other in the spirit of intercooperation. Actually, the wall behind me was insulated by Sustainergy, who does residential solar and home insulation. And it's just really, the level of reputation that they've built as leaders in the space, the level of just, you can come to them with any problem and they'll say, okay, here's 5 people who have thought about this for years, and here's what you can learn from them, and we'll connect you to them. Has just been, the difference is just been unreal to describe the support they've given us.
Yeah, that's great to hear. One of the things you just said that really surprised me, and I want you to expand on some more, is the profit sharing aspect. You said that the co-ops in the network are doing profit sharing. What's that look like in practice? Yeah,
so especially when you look at a place like Cincinnati, and I think we're a great example of this, right, as more of a white collar industry, right? Like you were saying, software engineers relative to most workers get paid extremely well, right? And on the other side of things, you've got these essential industries for both for workers and their communities, right? There's a home cleaning co-op that is absolutely wonderful, Cincy Cleaning Co-op. There's Our Harvest, the farm. And so a lot of what we do, right, is, the co-op network as a whole gets stronger if we lift each other up, right? And so that's where the profit sharing comes from. And in terms of a little bit more nuts and bolts, so Co-op Cincy, the organization itself is a nonprofit, right? And for years, that's all it was a bunch of co-ops supported by Co-op Cincy with this profit sharing agreement. But actually last year, and I can't really take any credit for this, we came on 99% through the process and just get to, reap the rewards of it. But we're actually started a for-profit, like a proper co-op of co-ops, Mondragon style.
Okay.
And so it's, and so that,
so is this like everybody agrees to put in a certain percentage of their net, and then it gets redistributed to everybody on like the basis of hours worked, or how does that?
So it's not a pure profit share in that way. Half of the profit goes to Co-op Cincy, the nonprofit. And speaking from experience, you get that back as a multiple in terms of support and grant access. But the other half of that 10%, so 5%, goes to this co-op of co-ops. And that, we're really in our first full year of it. And so it'll be interesting to see where that money goes. We're looking at real estate acquisitions, right, to get office space so that, eliminate one land. Landlords are highly risky for small businesses.
Right.
And their viability, but also things like, group healthcare coverage. Why are each of us paying for 1/10 of a lawyer when 10 of us could pay for one lawyer, right? Things like shared services purchasing.
Legal,
Exactly. Where we're going to go with that is still to be seen, but it's exciting. All those structures are in place now for it.
That's great. Have you guys considered or do you already have maybe a revolving loan fund for the co-ops, maybe as part of your profit sharing, or have you thought about doing that with part of that?
So I know Co-op Cincy is part of, and I believe Kristen Barker, the co-director of Co-op Cincy, is on the board for Seed Commons. And so I know that they have a lot of those same principles, right, of non-extractive capital infusions. And so I know different co-ops in the network have leaned into that network. But that's definitely one exciting thing that's quite related to that, right, is a big, correctly, an obsession in the space right now is the silver tsunami, right? All of these small businesses owned by baby boomers who are retiring, and we want them to go work around. Right. And so a lot of what we're looking at is, if workers want to buy out a business, there's really two limitations. There's immediate capital and there's expertise, management expertise specifically. Right. And so one thing we're looking at is, hey, could we acquire these businesses to give the owner a, faster way to get capital and then just sell it back to the workers at cost. Right. To basically provide that, super low interest loan functionally. And then also management training. If they need a finance person for a year, provide a finance person for a year. So that is in the works, but it's still, a pretty new initiative.
Okay.